And welcome back to Atheists on Air Beyond the Trailer Park. I hope everyone had a fabulous new year. It's 2015. Time to start fresh with a new year. But before we do that, Beth and I would like to kind of go back in time a little bit and talk about some of the craziness that was 2014. And trust me, there's a lot of crazy shit to talk about. In a little while, our new friend, the Seethin' Heathen, should be joining us. He is Joe's partner in crime on Unbuckling the Bible Belt. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it with us last time we had Joe on, but he's going to drop by and hang out with us a bit. And I think we should have a couple of special guests, or at least one joining us shortly, too. So, with that in mind, Beth, what kind of crazy shit have you got for us?
It's kind of more like, what don't I have? For those of you that don't know, I keep a blog. I call it Havoc and Chaos, and I call myself a social issues blogger. I primarily focus on the religious right, LGBT issues, mental health issues, just some of the crazy crap that goes on. And there was a lot of it this past year, and with the 2016 election season actually already kicking in, I think it's important to see where we were, where we are, and where we're headed. So some of these stories, I mean, most of them have gotten pretty good press, but some of them haven't, and that's what I try to focus on. And I think like one of the first ones is, one of my favorite topics is the Duggars from 19 Kids and Counting.
Well, before you get into that, before you get going there, because I know that's one of your favorite topics, but joining us, yeah, she's already going, joining us again, we have wonderful Miss Ashley from No Religion Required. She's popping in to visit us again because apparently she likes us or something, I don't know, but we love her, so. And possibly Bobby C. might be popping by here and there. We'll see how that works. But welcome, Miss Ashley.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back. I hope you are doing well. I don't think I met you the last time, Beth. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Beth, and I was listening to the show. I just, with moving and everything, I was like...
Yep. So Beth, as you may have heard, Beth is quite the blogger. She's very prolific, and she loves to talk about the crazy shit that not just religious wingnuts, but conspiracy wingnuts like to talk about too. So she's got some doozies for us, and as she was saying, she's going to start us off with the Duggars.
Oh, and I promise not to do Nephilim.
Thank you.
Hey, and I just wanted to reach in and say, hey, this is Bobby C.
Hey, Bobby.
Hi, how are you?
We're awesome. Thanks for popping in and joining us too.
Sure. You mean I actually get to talk through this one?
You can. Yes, you can. He's such a gentleman. He wanted to give Miss Ashley all the fun last week, so.
Yes.
And he did.
Awesome. All right, Beth. So tell us all about our friend Michelle Duggar.
Well, it's not just Michelle, although lately she seems to be the mouthpiece. Besides the crazy clown car vagina. I'm sorry. That I know you came up with it, but I've noticed a lot of other people using that reference as well. I just find it absolutely hysterical, and I know that sounds bad, but I started watching the Duggars probably, I think it was their second season. And I thought,
good. So I'm not the only one that watches them.
I don't anymore.
I have to, but I'm kind of like done with it.
But you know, I never even knew what Quiverful was. Okay, and if you really want to learn about Quiverful movement, look up Vicki Garrison, who hopefully with some luck, I can get as a guest for us, because she's an ex-Quiverful, and she has a marvelous blog called No Longer Quivering.
Mm-hmm. And what exactly does Quiverful mean? It's like a tongue
Okay. Yeah, Quiverful is basically, it's primarily based on Psalm 127, verses 3 through 5, which reads, "Lo, children are in..." What the heck? "Children are an heritage..." It's in King James, and trying to read King James is brutal.
Ooh, Elizabethan English, yeah.
Yeah. "Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with enemies in the gate." And basically what it is, the movement primarily was started by Mary Pride. She wrote one book called The Way Home, and that's basically where it got its start. And basically what it comes down to is it's a missionary effort to raise up many children as Christians to advance the cause of the Christian religion. Basically, it's, the best way to put it, warriors for God. And they base it primarily on Genesis 1, verse 22, and verses 8, chapter 8, 17, and chapter 9, 1, where it says, "Be fruitful and multiply."
So I'm guessing birth control is not something they go for.
No, anything, they don't do, no contraception, no birth control. They primarily justify it in the same manner that the Catholic Church does, but they are much more extreme. Now, what makes the Quiverful movement dangerous is it also falls under Christian patriarchy. Bill Gothard being the primary example, and yes, he is connected to the Duggars, as much as they like to deny it. And I will be posting links to these stories, and just so people know, I'm pulling information from blog posts that I have written, not to toot my own horn, but it was just easier. But one article that recently came out, it was written by Libby Ann over at her blog, and she has a blog called where'd it go? I lost it. She writes on Quiverful too. But
we can put links in after, folks.
Yes, yeah, sorry about that. Oh, Love, Joy, and Feminism, sorry, is the name of Libby Ann's. But she wrote an article called "Duggars' Actions Have Real-World Consequences." And a lot of people don't really realize that you get, and this is one of the reasons I stopped watching it. I watched it for about 4 years when the religious bullshit started coming out, and I started looking into this Quiverful stuff. And what people don't realize is how dangerous, and it's not just the Duggars, okay? I mean, there's other families. I mean, we all know, you know, the right is full of them. But what she was writing in regards was to the recent overturning of the Fayetteville, Arkansas ordinance that outlaws discrimination. They voted it in, and people got up in arms saying, no, you can't, you know, protect people based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. And what she did just prior to the recent election is she did a robocall, which was pretty nasty. I mean, you know, oh, the guys are going to use it to go into the girls' bathroom.
No, that's tired of.
Yeah, and that's their more recent claim to fame. But Josh Duggar, the oldest son, is also part of the Family Research Council. So, I mean, and he's using that. And one thing, which is funny, because if you look at the Quiverful movement, or specifically the Duggars, they homeschool. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
None of the families that I have been following, or people involved, none of the kids go to college. Very few do. And I'm not talking homeschoolers. I'm talking within the Quiverful. Basically, they hit 18 and they are expected to, you know, be betrothed, arranged marriages are very big. So as far as education, it's all homeschool. Very few college graduates.
What I find kind of ironic about the whole, arranged marriage thing, because they make a big deal out of purity, and, they don't even hold hands or anything, and the first kisses at your wedding and all that shit. But then Michelle Duggar actually came out and said, once you're married, you are to put out any and all times that you can.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, we have an echo.
Oh no, not the echo again.
I'm not hearing it.
Okay. No, you didn't echo. Oh. Okay, maybe it stopped.
No, I can hear it.
Is it us?
I don't think Beth, can you hang on? I'm gonna mute you for a second. Okay. No, it's not Beth.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute us. Let's see if it's us.
Okay, I'm talking. No. Beth, you're gonna have to unmute yourself. You're not letting me.
Okay. So it's not us?
No.
Okay. I thought I was having equipment issues again.
Beth, can you unmute yourself? I can't do it. There she goes. I'm gonna mute me again. You guys talk for a second.
Does it sound like it's coming from my end?
Nope, you're clear. And now I'm hearing it.
Okay, that's annoying.
How is our sound from this side?
I don't get an echo from you.
Okay.
Okay. That's annoying. Let me try something.
Well, we can't blame it on Dave Foda this time.
No. Now he's gonna be all like, "You blame me for nothing, you bastards."
No, I bet you somewhere around here.
Okay, I turned my audio down, but I can still hear it.
See, the last time we heard the echo too.
And you're not hearing it.
No.
Okay. Beth, you go on, and I'm going to pop out and come back in.
Okay. But yeah, what people don't realize is, oh great, now I'm echoing.
And we don't echo at all.
But with okay, let me try something here. Yeah, because it's echoing back in my ear, and trying to. Well, why don't you guys talk and tell me what you guys think of the quiverful movement? What do you know of it?
I don't really know much about it. Bobby would probably know a little bit more about it than I do. But hell, from just listening to what you were saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it's the families that don't put their children in any type of school. They teach them the only thing they want them to know, and that's within the household. All the way from their morals to their education to, anything job-wise. They don't really teach them any type of technical things or, any type of job other than like the wives staying at home, having babies, getting married, getting the kids off and getting married. And no, that didn't sound right. They're not getting kids off.
Good Lord.
Does that sound better now?
Are you still hearing an echo at all?
No. And you know what
I'm still hearing it.
I switched from Well, now I hear it again. Shoot. I switched from Chrome to another browser.
Yeah, because it would only work on Chrome for us. It wouldn't work on our other browser.
So were you guys hearing an echo when I left?
No, not at all. Well, we haven't heard an echo the whole time.
So Beth, could you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you echoing, and then I was echoing as well.
But when I left, could you hear it?
Yeah, me.
Just you.
So I'm gonna try popping out and popping back in.
Okay. Wow, this is fun.
You know, there seems to be a common denominator here. I'm just saying. Last time you were on, we had an echo. Now we're on, and all of a sudden, there's an echo.
It's all.
I don't know. See, it's still there. It's still there. I wonder if it's because you guys are both plugged in.
I don't know. Well, I'll mute me and let's see.
Okay, I'm talking and I can still hear myself. The only thing I can think of is I have a new microphone. So I'm gonna try something here.
Do you have your audio setting on your computer set up to work only that microphone, or is your computer mic also picking you up? That will create an echo.
I think I have. Nope, that didn't do it. I fixed the changed the speaker, but it didn't do that.
Yeah, because I know for our computer, I had to go into the settings and actually turn the mic on the computer completely off.
Before. Because I've been using it for recording. Yeah, it's still doing it. Crud.
Well, you want to see? Why don't we go out?
Okay.
And then come back in and see if that'll correct the problem.
Okay. I can talk to. Well, you know what? While you're doing that, I have a new segment that I'm going to play, and that can folks can listen to that while we figure this shit out. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, folks, I am going to, we talked about this last week, a creation moment, and I have done a nice slick one that I pre-recorded, and I am going to play that for you.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare. A well-made banana is just the right shape for the human mouth. It's chewy, easy to digest, and it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier.
I choose to believe that the earth is young. When we do that, when we understand that creation is the truth, then we understand where all of our doctrine comes from as well.
I just want to let you know that there actually is a book out there that actually tells us where matter came from. Bill, I do want to say that there is a book out there. So next time you hear on television somebody say millions of years ago, what's the question we're going to ask them? Were you there? Were you there? Call them up on the telephone and say, excuse me, Mr. TV man, were you there? Only way we could know what happened in the past if someone was there to tell us. That's right, dinosaurs lived beside people. And of course you'll have an evolutionist who'll say, that's not right, dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. What do you ask them? Were you there?
Hello and welcome to this week's Creation Moment. A little slice of creation silliness that I get in my email several times a day that I'd like to share with you so that we can all be enlightened as to just how crazy creationship is. This week, the host, Ian Taylor, is going to tell us about the golden toad. Let's listen to what he has to say.
All toads are not fat and ugly. The golden toad, which lives only a few square miles in a cloud forest of Costa Rica, is a trim and slim toad with a garishly bright orange colouring. The golden toad offers even more surprises. After the first heavy rain of the year, as many as 20 to 30 males congregate around a pool of water. They sit motionless, waiting for the first female to arrive.
Now let's pause right there for a second. A pool of water. he makes it sound like they found a pond or something. But see, I went and looked this up. These frogs would come out during the rainy season, and this wasn't a pond. This was puddles at the bottom of the trees. So it's not like they found a pond or anything. We're talking about puddles of water that are only there because it's the rainy season. Now, what else does Mr. Taylor have to say?
Before long, the females begin to arrive, and a week or so later, the entire population of golden toads, now numbering in the thousands, disappears back into the jungle to remain almost invisible for another year. This breeding strategy shows a great deal of wisdom and understanding that ensures that there are plenty of golden toads in the next generation. Toads have many enemies in the jungle, but by all getting together at the same time, they can produce far more young than their predators can victimize in a single week.
Okay, this is just ridiculous. Because like I said, I looked this up, and it turns out that the last sighting of any golden toad was in 1989. They're labeled as extinct. So where he gets the idea that the toads would number in the thousands, or that this was some kind of great strategy for breeding, beats me, because one of the issues with the breeding practice of waiting around these puddles of water is that if there was too much rain, the tadpoles would get washed away. And if there wasn't enough rain, then all the poor little tadpoles would dry up. So the toad's breeding practices really hinged on how much rainwater there would be. It had to be just the right amount. And obviously that wasn't working so well. And as far as the predators not getting a time to eat enough of them, well, so something really wasn't working too well there. What else does Mr. Taylor have to say?
You don't have to be a college graduate to know that toads are incapable of the kind of planning and ability to change their physical natures necessary to carry out this strategy. Evolutionists would say that no one thought of this strategy, but the clear answer is that there is a creator and he cares about all his creatures.
I don't know where he gets the idea that the toads have changed their physical nature because they went to find water in which to hatch their eggs into tadpoles. That's kind of instinctual. And like I said before, this quote strategy really didn't work so well because there aren't any toads left as far as we know. The last mating season took place in 1987. And there obviously wasn't enough toads that were created then because, well, we don't seem to have any left. Now, Mr. Taylor doesn't actually give this prayer, but on the hard copy of the creation moment that I receive in my email, it provides a prayer to close out the thought of the information. And this prayer makes me laugh. Dear Father, not a sparrow drops from the sky without your knowledge and purpose. Not even toads lack your care. Now let's stop there for a second. If God really cared about there being more toads, I think we might have some more golden toads left. But we don't. To continue, it says, help me to remember your care when I am anxious about the cares of living. Right, so the care God showed that allowed the toads to go extinct, I'm supposed to remember that when I'm having trouble. Doesn't seem very encouraging, does it? So, as we've seen, golden toads not doing so hot. If there are any left, no one has seen one since 1989. So their brilliant and intelligent breeding strategy that God provided from them, not doing so hot. Anyway, thanks for listening, and that was this week's Creation Moment.
Yeah, so intelligent toads, not so much.
Yeah. Crazy shit.
Yep.
You sent that to me to listen to. It was like, Okay. Distinct species. Great.
Mm-hmm. And welcome back, Miss Ashley. I think everybody cross your fingers. I think we have things fixed.
I'm not showing y'all my toes, but I got my toes crossed too.
All right. Woo.
She said, all right, don't show me your toes.
It's too fucking cold for me to have socks off around here anyway.
Hey, it's 40 degrees here, and it's too cold for me.
Yeah. So we were talking about Michelle Duggar and servicing your man whenever the hell he just decides you're supposed to sleep with him because God.
Yeah.
Hey, I can kind of get behind that whole concept.
Yeah, I can imagine, Bobby.
It's the whole God thing that kind of screws me up, though.
Yeah, well, you could. I don't know. You could call. I don't know. God-like.
Ghostbusters? Oh.
What's that?
I was going to say, I thought you mean call the Ghostbusters.
No, I actually know some of those.
Yeah, you and me both.
Not a
so
problem.
we share that in our, well, I can't say past because I still follow it, but.
Well, yeah, but you're not actively. Yeah, Beth and I both used to be ghost hunters at one point.
Oh, y'all too?
You too?
I never actually went on a ghost hunt, but I got more into the quote metaphysical. Well, right. I did one, but it was kind of at a conference. It wasn't like I went to Waverly or Eastern State or anything like that. It's just, but we did do quote investigations at the conference I was at. So.
Oh, Miss Ashley, you'll love this. We had a hotline and everything.
Really?
Oh yeah. And we actually would be like, hey, we got a call, we got to go to this person's house, like now, and we did that.
We actually, Savannah's known as like one of the most haunted cities in the United States.
That's right. I remember.
We actually tried to start a touring company doing that type of thing.
Yeah, one of my friends actually runs one of the tour companies in Savannah that does the ghost walks. Yes.
We probably know him. You'll have to send me his name.
Or her.
Or her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'll have to dig it. I haven't talked to them in a while, so I'll have to dig it out.
That'd be fun. I mean, ghost walks are kind of fun if you don't expect to actually find anything.
Well, it's like you said, it's the history behind a lot of the places. And that's what kind of drew me in some aspects. But as I said, I promised I wouldn't bring up that topic, so we won't go there.
So, and the other part that you were saying about the Duggars being dangerous too is they're very anti-LGBT.
Yes.
Yes.
And because they have.
Yeah,
I was going to say because they have national or international recognition, they're attempting to use whatever political clout they have to forward that agenda.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, I'm pretty out about LGBT issues are big on my hit list because I am gay.
Mm-hmm.
So and I have friends that are trans and yada yada yada. But I think going back to Libby Ann's article, there was one point she made, and it goes, "It's long past time to see the Duggars as quaint or snark fodder. It's time we fully understood the political influence the Duggars and other families like them wield or seek to wield, and the real-world effects of that influence."
Mm-hmm.
Isn't one of them actually
it's the world. Go ahead.
In Washington right now?
Yes, that is Josh Duggar. He works for the Family Research Council. That is Tony Perkins' organization, if I remember it correctly off the top of my head. And they are, whether you agree with the Southern Poverty Law Center or you don't, they are on their list of hate groups. I happen to support the Southern Poverty Law Center, so I happen to actually agree with that designation. And I think part of the reason why, and I told myself I wasn't, when you have ministers such as Stephen L. Anderson telling me that I need to be executed, when you have people like Gordon Kleinschmidt and King and Kevin Swanson, and when you have people like Pat Robertson, Tony Atkins and Brian Fisher, Peter LaBarbera, comparing us to the Nazis, I have a problem with that.
I do too. I completely agree with you.
But yeah, and I call it the Nazification. Right now, it's aimed at the LGBT primarily, specifically with the marriage equality. But recently, and kind of ties in, a couple months ago, Peter LaBarbera wrote an article where he said he felt like he was a Jew because of all the persecution that he and his ilk have felt. So on my blog, what I started to do, obviously I wrote that up, but I highlighted numerous. Actually, there's over 3,500 in the last 10 years. LGBT individuals that have either been murdered or injured in any way, shape, or form, whether the injury was physical and or emotional, that has occurred because of his hate.
And then you tweet it to him or send it to him, don't you?
Well, I highlight his name in my tags. Of course, most recently, which is in the news, is the case of the Leela.
Yes.
And what she went through with her family and their religious beliefs, and she was a victim of reparative therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have people that wield the power that the Duggars have, irregardless of the Reich nuts, Perkins et al., it's dangerous. And when it's on TV, it's even more dangerous, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So, I think with the build-up to 2016, we're going to see more. It's going to get worse for a while, but on a positive side, there are a lot of people that are fighting against it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Ashley and Bobby, you guys, you do a crazy Christian moment, don't you? If I recall.
Yes, we do.
You got any stellar ones from this past year that you'd like to share?
Bobby's story is actually a crazy Christian story.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is my story a crazy Christian story?
Because you got beat in the church.
Yeah, that
literally.
Is,
you got beat up in the church.
Growing up, my mom and dad made me go to church, and I hated Sunday mornings because Sunday morning was such a stressful time in our family. Now, keep in mind, I have no brothers or sisters. It's just me. And apparently, getting the one child they have ready for church was such a stressful time in the morning for them. And we would get to church, and if for some reason I would get too fidgety or make any noise, I would be punished inside the church. Now, my mom and dad, well, mainly my biological father, would not allow me to go to children's church because chances are they would see the bruises from the beatings I had already taken.
Boy.
So he wouldn't allow me to go into children's church. I had to stay in the adult service with them. That way he can keep an eye on me. And, of course, being a young boy in the adult service, you get bored out of your damn mind sitting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And, of course, that's what happened. I got bored. And I guess I started fidgeting and always wanting to draw pictures on the tithing envelopes, stuff like that.
That's a good use for them.
Oh, yeah. And, so what would happen is if I got too fidgety or got too noisy, they would take me to the foyer of the church, and they would wear my narrow ass out. And then walk me back down the center aisle of the church crying, and everybody's looking at me going, yep, it's that damn Carey boy again. And no one batted an eye. no one thought there was a problem that this young child got his ass beat in the foyer of the church.
Wow.
And I can remember many times sitting in the pew. I sat between my mom and dad. That was my position. And many times my dad would pinch the inside of my thigh and leave large bruises on the inside of my leg during church service. So it got to the point to where I hated church.
I guess so. Jeez.
My dad was a firm believer in spare the rod, spoil the child, and sometimes it was rod, clothes hanger, extension cord, leather strap, bat, whatever it was he had at the moment.
Yardstick, tennis racket, guitar.
Yeah, whatever he could find. His favorite thing.
Guitar. Wait a minute.
Electric. Hopefully acoustic, because they do break.
2 acoustic, 1 electric.
There you go. See, those electric ones don't break as easy.
No, they don't.
But his favorite thing was the leather barber strap. My mom's favorite thing was a switch. She would send me out in the backyard to pick her a switch. And she would make me take my pants down, and she would switch my hind end, my legs, and everything else with switch.
And this was back when he was a child.
Yeah,
and,
this was the 70s.
And I can actually, because I was his mother now. And I mean, call me crazy. I mean, it could be just because she's just that indoctrinated into the Baptist religion. But she honestly thinks that, if my child is disrespectful, and these are not her kids, okay? But she honestly thinks that if my children are disrespectful in any kind of way, that I should literally beat them.
Yeah, she's still kind of stuck in her old ways.
All they need is a good whooping.
Well, see, her whole concept was if her mom did it, she turned out okay. So clearly, it must be okay because her mom did it. And
I have something on that line of thought later in the show. You'll probably enjoy that.
Yeah. So I have many crazy Christian stories from my life, but that's just one small part of my crazy Christian story, and I have many, trust me.
Well, my crazy Christian story is your mom.
Fair enough.
Yep. Well, and one story from this year, it actually started in the spring, and I mentioned this a few shows ago when Wesley was on the show with us, but just down the highway from me here, in a city that Beth actually used to live in, called Hamilton, there was a family of uber Christians, and Bobby and Ashley, you may have even read a bit of this because it got a lot of press. But this family, the husband had diabetes, and he got the gangrenous leg, and he decided that praying to Jesus was better than going to the hospital. So he died, and they didn't report it. They boarded up the bedroom, and the wife thought that if she prayed hard enough, Jesus would resurrect her dead husband. And they found his body, I think it was 4 or 5 months later when they went to evict the family. So, and there was 6 children living in that house with a corpse in the bedroom. Yeah. So that was just down the road for me. And the news story, they actually showed a picture of the family's van. They had painted Bible verses and Jesus shit all over this van. And they had even gone to the trouble of carving crosses in the plastic of the headlights so that it would make crosses when they turn the headlights on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bizarre story.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah, we had one of our listeners send us that story that lives up there in Canada.
Yeah, Brian did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was it didn't get that much press here at the time, but it resurfaced back in November because they finally sentenced the mother, and I think she only got charged with something about failing to report a death or something really minor. So she did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah, probation, I think.
Well, I think they're. Mm-hmm. Yeah, their reasoning, if I remember correctly, was because she really did believe that. They were kind of like, well, kind of like she's not the brightest bulb on the string of lights.
Yeah, but then she still has 6 children.
Right. What happened
Yeah,
to that?
and
as far as I know,
and that's
she
what
got
makes
them
it
back.
so dangerous with it. Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the article, but
And that was, I
trying
think,
to find articles on my blog.
That was part of the reason why she got a light sentence, was because they wanted her back with her kids. And I'm like, why would you want her to have her children when she left them in a house with a corpse for months? And
Her getting her kids back is a crazy Christian story in itself.
it is, absolutely.
I mean, that's just, I mean, and then what was it, a couple of weeks before that, somewhere here in the United States, I cannot remember where it was, but there was a couple that was arrested because they refused medical care of their child to their
Yes.
child died.
Yeah.
And I haven't checked what the outcome was.
Yeah, there's quite a few of the quote faith healing cases.
Yeah, there were a number of those this year, and even up here, we had a case where it was actually an Aboriginal tribe, and they were trying to block cancer treatment for this Aboriginal girl because their beliefs went against using, Western medicine, and that they won that. That they have won the right to prevent this child from getting cancer treatment, which is...
Yeah, that was Michaela Salt.
Mm-hmm.
And, it is... And we touched on it once before, I know I did, when we were talking, is that the difficulty with that case is it brought in First Nation issues.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do support the fact that our Native American citizens are a nation unto themselves. So it gets a little sticky there, but where this family, where I had issues with Michaela's case, is that in the first YouTube video she did, she mentioned seeing Jesus. And both her parents were actually ministers within the church. I don't remember which one off the top of my head. So that, to me, negates the whole Native American thing, especially since they went to Florida and they basically got pseudo-medicine to treat her. They did not use shamanic or Native American treatment. So
it'd be more naturopathic kind of stuff.
Yeah, they, with the shamanic influence within the native culture. Now, I don't know how prevalent it is in the tribe they are part of, but yeah, and that's where, for me, that's as soon as they brought up, she saw Jesus and Jesus told her she was already healed after, I believe it was 3 chemo treatments. Yeah, that to me kind of blew that case out of the water, but Canada does have from what my research showed, it has a history of kind of a hands-off policy with First Nation issues.
We try to, but
yeah, it's a very sticky situation when you get into that.
Well, from my perspective, and I don't know what you guys think, but to me, yes, you as an adult can make that choice, but I don't believe any parent should have the right to deny medical treatment.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, and I know
I don't think I could even remotely, in my right frame of mind, I don't think I could deny my children medical care.
Yeah. And the thing is, what kind of a deity would say, well, no, you have to wait for me to decide whether I'm going to let your kid get healed or not, and, forget about all this other great medical shit in the world. You have to wait for me.
Right.
That's
medical's there for a reason. I mean, we've got all these medical people out there for a reason. And it's not just because they're out there and want to make money. There's people out there that actually want to heal people, that want to make people better.
That's
and
right.
I mean, and that's what they're there for. Let's use them. Let's let's give quality of life to, these people that are sick out here on this earth.
Yeah, because actually, I can't think of, and I know, Miss Ashley, you just finished Genesis, but I can't think of any time in the Old Testament that God healed anybody or anything. It wasn't until, Jesus came along, and then even then he didn't heal that many people.
No, I can't think of any time he healed anybody in Genesis either.
No, I think he was too worried about killing. That seemed to be his thing in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will smite you, but, if you've got an infection, too bad for you.
Yeah, kind of, if you don't do what I want to, what I'll do is I'll make you rub your face in feces and, all that fun stuff.
And condemning women. He didn't like women very much in
No,
Genesis.
he didn't like that much at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's why it's amazing. That's why it's amazing to me that women champion that book the way they do.
Because they think it's their place to be a supplicant to God and all that shit. And that basically it boils down to ass kissing. It's like, well, if I'm really, submissive the way I think God wants, and God's gonna let me go into heaven, and I'll get all the good shit after I die.
Right. Which, boy, they're going to be disappointed. Whew.
Oh, I know. I almost wish sometimes that people would, have awareness after death long enough to go, oh, fuck.
Me too. I agree. I wish we all had awareness after death, and for the people that, who really think that there's going to be. Now, I've heard about streets of gold. So, and what is it, 21 virgins?
Oh, 72 virgins for the Muslims.
72 virgins.
Right, it's 72 virgins, but it does not necessarily say that they're going to be women.
It does not.
So
and it doesn't either say that they're going to be young virgins either.
Right. So I mean, you could go in and bomb the building, and, next thing you know, it has John, William, Mark, all these virgins waiting on him.
Yep, and they've all been living in mommy's basement for their entire lives before they die. Or you could end up with a gaggle of octogenarians who took a vow of celibacy.
Yeah, but who the hell wants to spend all of eternity teaching 72 people how to fuck? I mean, come on, really?
I know. I've heard that said a lot of the time, who wants the virgins? Give me the hose. At least they know what the hell they're doing.
There's somebody that knows what the hell they're doing.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen it was probably in the last 3 months, the mummy regarding the 72 virgins, and they're all like 60 to 90-year-old nuns?
I have seen that one.
I haven't seen that one.
No, we haven't.
I'll have to dig it up. I think I have it somewhere.
And then as far as who you're going to meet at the, quote, pearly gates, or who the Almighty is, another mummy, it has a rabbi, a Catholic priest, and an imam, and it turns out that the Almighty is actually ISIS. And the caption is, oh shit.
There's several versions of that. I have the one where it's the flying spaghetti monster. Yes. And again, collectively,
I have seen that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell's your colander, you guys?
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's like, I, for lack of a better word, have had the technical definition, a, quote, near-death experience. And twice, actually. And I saw absolutely nothing. And this was one was pre-deconversion and one was post-deconversion. So if you follow along the reasoning with the near-death, Evan Alexander being the most recent, basically been determined to be a fraud, why didn't I see the pearly gate, see the bright light? Why didn't I see God? Mm-hmm. I saw absolutely nothing.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So another goofball story from this year that kind of pissed me off was that young fellow who was arrested and charged because he, quote, defiled the Jesus statue.
Yes.
God, what a mess that was.
Was that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it was in Pennsylvania.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and
Just
and,
outside of Philly.
right, and the thing is, he would have never got caught had he not posted it on Facebook.
But you know what?
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter. Why the hell would you have a law like that that can ruin a person's life? Because we all know teenagers do stupid shit, like tagging buildings or, you know, making it look like Jesus is sucking your dick.
Right.
I mean, I've seen lots of pictures. You know those Ronald McDonald statues where he's like sitting on the park bench with a big grin on his face? I've seen lots of people taking pictures of their face down in his crotch, and you know.
Yeah, it goes to show, like when we had the nativity scene up here at the courthouse in Statesboro, you know, all throughout the holidays. And, you know, the thing about it is that had somebody gone up there and done that to Mary in the nativity scene, they'd been arrested. But had somebody gone up and urinated or put a hole in the FFRF banner and treated it as if it was, you know, something sexual, nothing would have happened to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think I was going to say, I said that before, is that, you know, if somebody had done that to the nativity scene, they would have called out the freaking National Guard to hunt that poor bastard down and try and figure out what happened, you know?
Well, what kills me about the PA case is basically it was prosecuted on a 1972 statute that makes desecration, theft, or assault-generated object a second-degree misdemeanor. Pennsylvania law defines desecration as defacing, damaging, polluting, or otherwise physically mistreating an object.
That's
in a way that the actor, in a way that the actor knows will outrage the sensibilities of anyone who learns about it. And
so
the go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you could look at a picture of anybody with some kind of monument and decide, I am offended by that, and decide that, you know, hey, I want you to prosecute because I'm offended by that. That's how vague that shit is.
And
but the bottom
what
line,
made it...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, the bottom
Bobby.
line is he did absolutely no damage. The only thing he did was hurt their feelings.
Feelings.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
He did nothing. I mean, hello?
Hey.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, sorry, guys.
Hey,
it was our friend, the Seethan
Thank God. For a
Heathen.
minute there, I thought it was God calling us.
I was going to run.
not quite.
Hey, Seethan, how you doing?
How y'all doing?
We're good.
Man, it's good to hear another Southern accent on this end.
So, what's that, Seethan?
Do I sound Southern?
Yeah.
Hell, I hope so, boy. You from Tennessee.
Yeah, I was a military brat, though, so I got all kinds of stuff in me.
Well, I wouldn't quite put it that way. But by the way, guys, we're looking forward to it because Seethan is going to be on our show this week as our guest.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
So we're looking forward to that.
Well,
I'm looking forward to that.
you get a little preview then, because we've been having some wonky shit going on tonight, so Bobby and Ashley have popped on just to make sure nothing explodes. And
Holy shit.
I don't know how good we are at that, though.
well, yeah. we somebody knock on wood, we got the echo to go away. So what's happening, Seethan?
Just driving home from my second job.
Oh yeah, you got lots of going on there. But do you have a favorite crazy religious story from the past year?
A favorite crazy religious story from the past year.
Something that was in the news, got a lot of press.
Shit, I don't know if I can narrow it down.
That sounds familiar.
Yes.
There's just so much craziness, especially here in the South, that's kind of hard to... I mean, for example, that pastor in Montgomery, Alabama, who gave all those parishioners AIDS or whatever.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, give us a bit of detail about that if you can.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, what's that? Uh-oh. Did you go
I
through...
don't remember hearing about that.
Did you go through a tunnel, see, then?
He's going through those mountains of Tennessee.
Okay, well, hopefully he'll chime back in a minute. He's
Down in the valley. He'll be back.
Yeah, apparently this pastor was going around and sleeping with all kinds of parishioners, and he had AIDS.
No, not a pastor. That's a man of God.
I know.
How dare he?
Mm-hmm.
This is not an affair. This is not adultery. It's a horrific abuse of power. It's called clergy sexual misconduct. The victims are vulnerable, adults who have fallen prey to a shrewd predator who masquerades as a man of God. That was one of the highlights of an article about it.
I have said on many occasions that anybody going into the clergy needs to have a background check.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially if you look at all that's going on with the Catholic priests and the young boys and everything like that. If you're going to be a pastor, you should have to go through a background check. Now, I know a lot of Christians are going to have a hard time with that, and they're not going to like that idea. But really and truly, I don't give a shit. The bottom line is, if they're going to be around my children, I want to know that these men or women are not predators, that they don't have a past of messing around with children.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you think about it,
I
was going to say it's not even just children, because they are interacting with their parishioners potentially during some really vulnerable times in their lives. Like, a lot of people go to their pastor for quote spiritual counseling, and let's say they disclose that they're in a domestic violence situation, or that they're just maybe they have mental health issues, or maybe they're just having a really bad go of it. And we've seen it time and time again where clergy will take advantage of that situation, and really, what better target than somebody who's already kind of on a downswing and they're vulnerable?
No, I completely agree.
Go ahead, Beth.
Yeah. What makes this case too on the 10th of October or thereabouts, and I know I posted an update, it was on the 10th or thereabouts, and he was still preaching.
This is the guy with AIDS.
Yeah. It was preaching. He preached out of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay.
And it's like Bobby said. I mean, I know within here in PA at least. I don't know if this is national, but one of my former bosses was a member of the Catholic Church, and he taught the catechism classes for the kids. He had to go through a background check.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great.
But I don't know if clergy themselves has to, and I do agree. I mean, I know. I mean, I do follow the pedophile priests, as I call them, and it's not just boys. A lot of people don't realize that there are a lot of girls that have been victimized as well.
Absolutely.
And when I say pedophile, I am not using it in the proper context of the age limit, because usually pedophilia is under the age of 11. I'm talking any child under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, these are not, I mean, some of them, yes, are under the age of 11, but a lot of these kids are 14, 15, 16 years old.
Mhm. Exactly. And
Well,
then
I can't speak for all pastors, but I think for a majority of your pastors, most of them's never been through seminary or any type of theological training.
No, they haven't.
My pastor worked for the power company, and he just happened to get
Yeah.
up and preach on Sunday. So for some of us, he was just a common man that happened to know the Bible better than I did, and was more firebrand than me.
Or what he thought.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're going through seminary.
Yeah.
yeah, and
I mean,
the Mormon Church gets around that by having lay clergy. So they
Right.
make it a big deal out of the fact that, our bishops and our stake presidents and all of that shit, that they're just regular guys that, God has called to serve in this way in the church. So it could be any Joe Schmo that happens to go to that congregation.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is my point exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I know when I was in college, I was a Bible and theology major. My goal was to become a minister, specifically a youth minister dealing with drug and alcohol abuse. And, I knew even after 4 years of college, I still would have to go to seminary, which was, that's what I had planned on doing. But I have friends. I'm still licensed as a minister. My brother and my sister-in-law technically are both ministers. I have 2 other family members that are, because of where they work, they are considered ministers, and that gets into the whole IRS bullshit. But, I have friends who never even went to Bible school, for lack of a better word, who are ministers. They, like Bobby said, they just happen to know the Bible better.
Yep.
But they have no hermeneutical training. They have no training in Greek or Hebrew or Aramaic. And I do. And so it just kind of blows my mind that, like Bobby said, a Joe Schmo can get up and preach and call himself a minister. And there was the case out of New Zealand, where I forgot exactly what he said. I think he was targeting a author, and he called him a dirty, filthy faggot. Excuse my language, but. And it turned out that he actually isn't even a minister, but he calls himself that because he has a, quote, online church.
Oh, hell, I've got credentials. I've got reverend credentials from some online thing, and I also have credentials from the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. And
exactly.
The one that I have is actually quite, it's like a plastic card, just like a credit card, and it's very official looking. But
yeah, Universal Life Church.
That's the one. Yes, the Universal Life Church.
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got one too.
I have it. I have it specifically, and I have it for a reason. As one, because of the Good Samaritan law, but 2, also hopefully sometime in the next year I'll to do humanist or secular weddings. There is a need where I live for that. So that's why I have that.
It's called the Universal.
Yeah,
Life.
with the Universal Church, like I could get on
Life Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah, because my son and his fiance are getting married this year, and they're wanting me to officiate their wedding because they're not religious.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, so I have to somehow get ordained, and I think I'm going to do it either through that or the Church of Dude. I'll become a dudist priest.
Awesome.
The only thing you got to be careful of with that, Bobby, is to make sure that your credentials from the Universal Life Church will be accepted by the court clerk, because in some states, unless you physically have a church, they will not accept it.
I wonder how Pennsylvania is. I don't know.
Seethan, are you there?
That's where I'm at. I'll have to double check.
There he is.
You're in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
The Seethan is back with us.
Woohoo!
Yeah, excitement abounds, I can tell.
That's the area between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
That would be
Yes.
See, then, did you go through a tunnel?
I don't know what happened. This phone's been acting crazy, so I don't know.
Oh, wow. Glad to have you back. It's dark in your car, I see.
Oh yeah, it's very dark.
That's
I'm
okay. So yeah, we were talking about your AIDS infected preacher there. That's pretty disgusting.
Have y'all heard Adam Reeks and his whole thing with Reverend Manning or whatever?
Yeah, Reverend Manning and the Starbucks semen. Yes.
Yeah.
That was especially entertaining this year. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's the whole saga with him and Adam Reeks doing the chop ups and him getting the play that he's gotten off of it is just awesome. I mean, getting mentioned by some crazy guy in was it Harlem or whatever, the Harlem guy?
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's great for us and for atheist podcasters. Kind of gives us a little boost or whatever.
Absolutely. I can't get over the fact that he didn't realize that it wasn't real.
Oh, I can absolutely believe it. This guy's off his fucking rocker.
Yeah, well, he took an article from The Onion and actually thought it was real.
Yeah, the semen in the lattes.
Yeah, the semen in the lattes.
Talk to me.
$9 a clip.
Hey, that was the latest one with Bill Maher. Talk to me.
Talk to me. Yeah.
Crazy fuck.
Oh, that guy.
I don't think he's smart enough to pull off an Andy Kaufman-esque sort of act or whatever. I think he genuinely is that stupid.
Yeah, I think so.
Which goes back to what we were just saying, that any schmo can be a preacher.
Oh yeah, I mean not Robert Heinlein, Scientology. Ron Hubbard.
Oh,
so if you want to make any money, go start a religion if you want to make a lot of money.
Yep, absolutely.
$1,000 to become a member.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to pay immediately, but we had a gentleman, Robert, on I think it was like episode 4, and he was a Scientologist.
Oh, I've read both of those. There's those 2 books, and the one that we did on a couple of shows ago. We were talking about HBO's doing a documentary or a movie based on one of those Scientology tell-all books.
Yes, and they had to hire like 200 lawyers or some shit.
I'm on it. I'm waiting for that because I've read that, and I read there was another one I read, and that's just batshit crazy. I mean, it's insane. You can see religion, the way religion develops right in front of your eyes.
A good example of that is a documentary I saw on Netflix. It's called Kumare, and this guy, it targets more the guru culture of India, but this fellow, he is an Indian American, and he was born and raised in the U.S. He has an American accent, but he grew his hair out, grew a beard, got some robes, and started his own little ashram kind of thing. But the message that he kept saying was, I'm not who you think I am. I am not real. You don't need me. That's what his entire message was the whole time that he was, had followers and whatnot. And at the end, and I think he did it for, 2 months or something, at the end of that time, there were people who were absolutely infuriated that he had, quote, lied to them. And yet, the whole time, he kept saying, I'm not real, I am fake, you don't need me. And yet, they didn't even want to know.
That's their own damn... People are so just hungry for some sort of spiritual anything, some meaning in their life sometimes that they'll take anything.
Yeah.
It's part of their identity.
It
Yeah.
can
Trying
be.
to find a part of their identity.
Yeah, basically what they're doing is they're trying to find their place in the world, and unfortunately, there's a church on every corner that's willing to bring them in and try to give them that place.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, actually. They prey on the weak. They will go feed the homeless, but only after you hear this message about Jesus first.
Mhm. Well, and back to Mormons there with that, I read recently even that they train those missionaries to target people who have recently lost a family member because A, they're vulnerable, and B, they teach that if you're a Mormon, you can be with your family forever and ever. So
Plus, they can baptize you after death.
yes, they can.
They
So
can baptize you after you die.
if
To the Mormon.
if Grandpa Joe, died before you had a chance to turn a Mormon, well, you can do it after. That's okay.
Right. And they become a part of the Mormon Church.
Are
No,
you for real?
I'm not shitting you. Seriously.
No, they really do that.
Yeah, they did it
Oh,
to Anne
Miss-
Frank.
Post-mortem baptisms.
Miss Ashley, you're gonna have to listen next week. Is actually Mormon Mania on Beyond the Trailer Park. So we're gonna have a packed group of 2 ex-Mormons and David Michael, who is, as everybody who listens to
I
knows,
love David Michael.
has never been a Mormon. So
I was going to say those are Exmos to
yes, ex-Mos
you. Yeah. Exmos and MIMO.
and no-mos or never-mo.
Well,
I'm
David
a-
Michael, if you listen to his show, we're called, I'm a patron to that show, so
Me too, yeah.
Real Mimos or whatever the hell he called.
Yeah, real
Yeah,
Mimo.
they're called Mormon.
I'm a Mimo priestess.
Oh, you're the priest. Okay.
I might have to peek my head in on that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, I think. But
That's of course if you don't mind. I don't want to just go, hey.
She wants to be David Michael.
I-
Come on. Let's just be
Bobby,
honest.
you're gonna have to take your shit live soon, because Miss Ashley's liking this shit.
Oh, you
Well,
know why a
well,
ALL.
Do what?
Y'all always be YA''LL. Well, we're slowly getting to that live on our Patreon. We have a goal set that we want to meet in order to go live to cover all the expenses through Spreaker and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we just had another patron, so we're slowly getting there. I think we're about $36 short. So once we hit that mark, I've been looking at Spreaker and getting everything set up. We got brand new mics thanks to the generosity of one of our listeners. So we're getting everything ready because when we hit that point, we're going live.
All right, awesome.
I'm looking forward to the call-in show so people can call in and give Miss Ashley help.
Absolutely. Well, with any luck,
I love that the dulcet tones of Miss Ashley's voice.
Absolutely.
Everybody does.
Who was it? I think somebody had told me that, or somebody had said something about I need to read my favorite Bible verse
In a slow,
that involves
in a slow, melodious tone.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, Deborah, look, you'd be amazed at the emails we get specifically geared toward Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy. I never dreamed bringing her on my show would have the impact that it has. It's amazing to me. People have fallen in love with my woman.
I'm getting a picture of a donkey.
I have Googled that
I want the
verse.
Beatomorphic reason con.
I cannot find any illustrations of that verse anywhere.
No, good luck.
We need to have somebody draw us an illustration.
Well, you can probably go to Mexico and get a live
then.
hockey show and take a picture.
See then, you do, yeah, it's Ezekiel 23:20. Have you heard of that before?
Is it the thing in the sky or whatever? Or
Oh no!
It's doing the thing, but it ain't in the sky.
Do you want to read it for us, Miss Ashley? Do you have it?
Hold on. She's got to get her Bible. Hang on.
Okay.
We'll do it.
We'll read it for you, see then.
Yeah, and Ashley, you have to do it in a slow, sexy, melodious tone. Because you never know, that guy that emailed us just might be listening.
Y'all
That's
gotta,
right.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
so, sir, if you're listening, go ahead and get your tube sock. We'll wait.
Well, he might have the silver cup. You never know.
Chris said, all right.
oh my Lord.
Actually,
Look, we're going to have so much fun with unbuckling the Bible belt this week. It's going to be a blast.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, if y'all ready, Miss Assie's going to do it sexy for you.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
All right, well,
It's on the
make sure.
spot.
Well, make sure you move down close to that mic so they can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Oh yeah.
There, she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkeys, and whose emotion was like that of horses.
Damn it, man. Y'all would be
Yeah.
right.
I've heard that
I
one
have
before,
to.
yeah.
I have to admit, though, Ashley, I really liked your version last week. What was it? Holy fuck!
I actually made a clip out of that.
You
Oh,
did.
I did.
Oh, sweet.
I sent
Your
it to
reaction.
I
Look,
sent it
guys.
to Miss Ashley yesterday. It was
Look, I'm hoping that when we go live, we're able to put a studio, a camera up in here, because for that minute second, people got to see what I get to see every week when
Yes.
I read the Bible, and it is amazing. We're going into Exodus this week, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I know. I went to go pull out the Bible the other day because I was like, I want to, like read ahead. He's like, no, you can't do that.
No, you can't read ahead.
That's like David Michael with My Book of Mormon. He refuses to read ahead.
and
Well,
he doesn't want anybody to give him spoilers either.
Well, one of the novelties to having Ashley read the Bible is the fact that she's not reading ahead, and people get a true response
Mhm.
to the Bible.
Yep.
I don't want her reading ahead. I want her to read it and go, holy shit, are you kidding me?
But I'm okay with spoilers because, the donkey.
Thanks for that, Deborah.
You're
Appreciate it.
very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm happy to oblige.
Have
Yeah,
you
we-
heard the
we-
Awkward Moments Children's Bible or whatever?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Horace Gilgamesh. She illustrates verses. That's kind of X-rated, so I doubt that would be in there. But other verses of that nature probably would be in there.
Well, I think we need to find an artist somewhere who can draw that for us because.
I don't think you'll have a problem with it.
So I mean, I don't have any money to give you, but if anybody wants to make us a lovely Ezekiel 23:20 illustration, we'd be happy to have that.
And Nancy
We have
Drew,
a good friend that can do it.
What's that?
Nancy Drew PI or whatever.
Oh yeah, I should. Well, she's one of my friends. I could ask her. That's an idea. Thank you.
Heck, I'm gonna cross stitch-
Nancy, when you listen to this, draw me a picture.
Hey, I'm going to cross stitch it and give it to Bobby's mama for Christmas.
I want to see a picture of her face when that when she sees it.
That's awesome.
Timmy should have a fucking heart attack.
You were just trying to turn my family completely against me. I know it. Goodness gracious. Outing me wasn't bad enough.
Hey, don't piss off a Southern woman.
No. No, I tell everybody many times, Ashley's 4'9" with a 6'9" attitude.
Oh, I already trust me. I've met plenty of women like that down here.
Yeah. Well,
And actually-
I got me a true grits.
Look, we got into an argument.
Talking to you, Mike.
I got into an argument with her one time sitting at a table, and she just has a thing against women's rights.
She does.
She honestly thinks that against women's rights. She
women's
honestly,
rights.
yeah,
Yeah, women's rights.
she honestly thinks that that both me and Bobby should have jobs, but that I should come home and after working a 12-hour day, come home, cook, rub his feet, draw his bath, get his clothes out ready for him. Hell, if she probably even wants me to dress him in the morning.
How about
cutting his food for him too.
Or you can just lay my clothes out. That'll make life easier.
What was that, Stephen?
That's the South. I mean, that's just what older generations like that. You're supposed to go get your man, because every time I go to any get-together with my girlfriend, why don't you get him a plate or something, you know, or why don't you go get him something to drink? And she looks at them like they're fucking insane, you know.
Because he's a grown-ass man and can do it himself?
Well, that's the influence of Phyllis Schlafly.
Oh, that
Legal
bitch.
form.
The one that stopped the
Yeah.
ERA tracks.
Yes. I mean, and you know, she's of that generation. That's the same thing even with my parents that I fought. I mean, although my mom wasn't quite that bad, I mean, but she was damn sure that, you know, dinner was on the table when Dad got home from work and, you know, yada, yada, yada. But she worked outside of the home, but keeping the home, laundry, dishes, cleaning, feeding, you know, waiting on my dad. I won't say hand and foot. My dad, you know, wasn't quite the prick that some can be, but yeah, that's Phyllis Schlafly's influence right there.
Ugh.
Thanks, Phyllis.
I can remember every morning before school watching my mom kneel down at my dad's feet and tie his boot for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, before going to work. And she would go work all day long, and then she'd have to hurry up and get home so that dinner could be ready at 6 o'clock. Whenever he walked in the door, he'd walk in, wash his hands, and sit right at the dinner table. You know, and me, I'm sitting there looking at her going, he can buy fucking slip-ons. What are you doing lacing up his boots?
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, are you really that submissive? Are you that weak?
Oh, don't they call it a help meet?
Yes, he'll help me.
I told her.
What's
her
that, Stephen?
at the table. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to dress him. I'm not going to lay his clothes out for him. I'm not going to come home every night and cook a meal for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 50-50 thing here, you know.
No, it's not. It's 100%.
Okay, well, it's 100%.
That makes more sense.
And she's like, so what? You don't care for him? I'm like, okay. So what does it say about him to just come home and sit on his ass after work while I'm in here after working a 12-hour day too?
Exactly. Hey, see then, how long have you got to stay with us?
Do what?
I said, how long have you got to stay with us? Because I know you're kind of in transit there.
I was just sitting in the fucking parking lot for about 15 minutes there.
Yeah, priorities, man. Work or my show.
Yeah, I'm kind of having home problems right now, though.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I'm trying to balance that out. But anyway, no, it's.
Whoa.
Right, that was my text. Yeah, I'm headed home now, but yeah, this is. I'm really looking forward to being on No Religion Required. I gotta say, Bobby was really, he jumped right on the bandwagon as soon as we came out, so I really appreciate that. Actually.
Yeah, these guys are good that way.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing about us podcasters. We realize that there is no competition out there. Mm-hmm. That we're all working toward the same goal. And I have found that most podcasters, everybody from David Smalley to down to the smallest guy, will do anything they can do to help you succeed. And you know, and that is what I wanted to do with these guys. It was a chance to help another, especially a Southern-based podcast. We need more Southern voices down here in the Bible Belt. And whenever I found these guys, I was like, Unbuckling the Bible Belt. Now that's a show that I can get behind.
Yep.
and that's what I wanted to do. I really want to help these guys succeed because we need their voices down here in the South. I don't want me and Ashley to be the only Southern voices.
Hey, I was trying to get Heritage Woman down south earlier today.
She was when my stupid car would start. So was Jim, actually. Hi, Jim. But yeah, as long as you have no snow, I'm good with that. Because I fucking hate it.
What hell's that?
Look.
Yeah, exactly.
The red Solo cup,
Yeah.
when it's full of ice and it rolls over, they shut down Georgia, okay?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. No, see, then I was going to play a segment clip here, but if you didn't have much time, I could wait. I just didn't want to take up any more of your time with us if you were short of it. Oh, did we lose him? We lost him. Well, that answers that question. So I'm going to play, this is a new segment that we haven't had before, and it's called Logical Fallacies for Dummies. And Bobby, what you were talking about earlier in regards to, hey, so-and-so did it too, this is exactly what I meant. So we will do that.
And now it's time for logical fallacies for dummies. On this week's installment of Logical Fallacies for Dummies, I would like to talk about two apps. Now, this is probably one of the hardest ones to pronounce. Tuquoque. It is actually spelled Tuquoque. And what this means is you're saying that it's okay to do something because you can show that someone else did it. In that, because that someone else did the same thing that you want to do, then it must be okay. Of course, the fallacy is that this absolutely doesn't mean that the other person is doing something that's right. It just means that you think you should do the same thing because someone else is doing it or getting away with it. It's the kind of thing you might hear children say, when they get busted for leaving a mess, they say, well, my little brother did it too. And so therefore they should not be held accountable for it. I've encountered this numerous times when debating theists on Twitter or Facebook, mostly Twitter. And I've also come across a really glaring example of this on YouTube when I was researching Aisha and Muhammad. Aisha was Muhammad's child bride. He married her at 6 years old and he reportedly consummated the marriage at 9, which leads many people to state that Muhammad was a pedophile. And I came across this video where the use of tuquoque was just ridiculous. So I'm going to play you a little clip of that.
Oh, mashallah, that's a very good info indeed. And are there any holy figures in Christianity?
Well, holy figures in Christianity, according to Catholic Encyclopedia, and you can find this information on newadvent.org. Virgin Mary was 12 years old when she got pregnant, okay? And it said that her husband, Joseph the Carpenter, was 90 years old. So if they look at everything, this perception, then even Joseph the Carpenter becomes pedophile. And, it's not only limited to Joseph the Carpenter, but the age which I told you, 12 years, is not only limited to Mother Mary, but it's also believed that St. Augustine was 31 years old when he got married to a 10-year-old girl. Just a 10-year-old girl. And it's also mentioned in some of the Christian scriptures that Saint Agnes got marriage proposals at the age of 12, and Saint Rita of Cashia got married at the age of 12. And not only this, Prince Edward, a Christian king, married Mary Stuart, who was 6 years old. And Stephen Milutin was the Crown of Serbia. He was a Christian king. He was a staunch Christian king. And he married Simonis, who was just 5 years old. And Simonis was the fourth wife of Stephen Milutin, fourth wife. So this gives us a hint that even Christianity has polygamy. Even they believe in polygamy. Not only this, even Countess Agnes of Essex, she got engaged at the age of 3 and got married at the age of 12.
Now, they actually go on to compare other religions. They talk about Judaism as well. But I find it really ironic that they are immediately latching on to, well, Catholics do it too, and Christians do it too. Especially since we all know what problems Catholics have with sexual impropriety in children. So their use of Catholics is really not too bright on their part. But as you can see, they're listing off all these various Christian figureheads of history who have also had child brides or were married as very young children. The implication being that, well, all the Christians did it. Why is it bad that Muhammad did it? And they seem to think that that gets Muhammad off the hook for being a pedophile. And the same thing when they launch into comparing historical figures of Judaism who had young wives or were child brides themselves. Hey, that's okay, because they did it too. So when you think talking to somebody and they bring up the, well, so-and-so did it too, think about, the 6-year-old who's trying to blame their little brother for making a mess and realize that 2 wrongs don't make it right. And there is no proof that something is right just because you can show someone else did it too. And that concludes this week's logical fallacy for dummies.
Yeah, that was quite the clip. Yeah, those guys were. I stumbled upon that a few months ago. I was doing research for Conify Me, actually. Found those twits, and yeah. That stuck out a lot. It was, oh, well, so-and-so did it, so Muhammad's not a pedophile. No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Yeah. So
get into this segment because I have actually we haven't done it in a while, but on my show we have been we started doing a fallacy segment because I've been wanting to learn fallacies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be a huge fan of your fallacy segment.
Thank you. I found some good resources, and I mean other shows talk about logical fallacies, but I want to simplify it and break it down into really easy ways. And like when you see tu quoque, it's like, yeah, what the hell is that? Because it's probably the hardest to pronounce out of all of them, I think. So that's why I started with that one, because like, no, it doesn't have to be intimidating just because it's got a fucked up name for it. It's actually a really easy one to wrap your head around. So.
Well, I think what's important, even though like we're doing a segment and Ashley and Cash has Professor Steven, is that we all approach it from a different way, from our own understanding. And even though I know the logical fallacies, I can't always think of the name of them, or I see it, but I don't know what it is. And it's just because I usually have so much clutter in my head that I sometimes, I mean, having these reminders helps. And like Ashley, with you reading the Bible, chapter by chapter, it'll help you see it in that aspect. For me, when I look at, especially with dealing with the politics that I do, some of the logical fallacies that come out of politicians' mouth, I mean, it just blows your mind. You're like, seriously?
It's like
I think
it's full of fallacies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely. So, Beth, there was another topic that I thought was kind of goofy from this year was your friends who are into exorcism. And what's his name? Was it Larson, who likes to do internet exorcisms?
Yeah, I have a thing for exorcisms. For those that don't know me, back in college, I was actually subjected to one. It was a failed one. So Bob Larson has been on my radar since 1983. He used to have a radio show that I actually used to listen to. and his teachings were very influential in what I went through back at the time period. So I was reintroduced to him about 2 years ago. He started becoming popular again, so to speak. And for those that don't remember, he and Mike Warnke, Jack Chick, were primarily responsible for the satanic panic of the 80s, early 90s. So he falls under in two different categories. But yeah, one of the things, I mean, the beginning of 2014, almost on a daily basis, I was posting articles concerning parents or child caregivers that were literally murdering their kids using exorcism as the excuse. Oh, I thought my kid was possessed. The most prominent one at the beginning of the year was the one that happened in Maryland. And that was pretty horrendous, where 2 women killed, I think, 2 of her kids and injured 2 others. But what really brings it home is in the middle of the year, you had the Vatican pushing for exorcism again. They basically determined, oh, we need more. And there was one post I made. I said, I have posted previously about the renewed efforts of the Vatican concerning its push for use of exorcism in battling spiritual malaise. I find it quite disconcerting for numerous reasons, but a point made by Katie Engelhardt in an article over at Salon really hit the crux of the matter for me. And she goes, but if we accept, as I do, that there is definitely no such thing as demonic possession, and therefore that this is all crazy talk, we should take pause and consider the effects that a push for exorcisms might have on vulnerable Catholics, the mentally ill, the developmentally impaired, and the psychologically traumatized. And where the whole issue for me personally is that I have bipolar disorder. I was not diagnosed until 1993-ish, 94-ish. So basically the issues I was having back in college were probably from my bipolar. Not that I was demonically possessed. So yeah, it's kind of a touchy-feely for me, but yeah. Go ahead.
Well, Larson kind of has gone off the deep end from what I can, more so off the deep end. I stumbled across him on a documentary show on Netflix, and he was being profiled for now doing Skype. They call it, they don't call it exorcism, they call it deliverance now.
Yes, and there is a difference.
Yeah, and he was also had this sort of crack team of prepubescent, quote, virgin girls who were doing exorcisms.
One was his daughter.
Yep.
And actually, that's the issue that brought him back onto my radar screen was when they were out for radar online, if I remember, or Vice did an expose on the proposed show, and that's what brought him back in to my life. Joy or bliss.
Yeah.
But yeah, he now does, he charges like $295, and he does, quote, he calls them exorcisms. In actuality, he performs what's known as a deliverance, and there is a difference. Deliverance is basically you, me, Ashley, Bobby, Dave, any.
I think her feed's getting wonky. Yeah.
I'm freezing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, deliverance ministry can be done by anybody, according to those that practice it. Exorcisms are usually what we're familiar with is a rite of the Catholic Church. Now there are some, I believe, Presbyterians and I believe Lutherans also have an exorcism rite as well. So, but there's a slight difference. Outcome's the same. Nothing.
Well, and I came across, I think I don't know if I've talked about this on my show, but I've talked about this before. I came across this Nigerian guy, TB Joshua.
Yeah.
And this guy is nuts. But he tries to do, quote, deliverances on his, he has an evangelical show in Nigeria, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on with that, and he'll have people riding around on the ground and go, ah. He actually had a guy come out of the audience and readily claimed that he was trying to have sex with animals because he was, yeah, I was actually yeah, he was going on and on about how he chased a dolphin around to have sex with the dolphin, and then after that, he wanted to have sex with any animal he came by, and it was all because he was, possessed by a demon. But,
Well, just to give you an idea, these are just some headlines. London group gives exorcist treatment to toddler. Okay,
yeah.
3 years old. There was a recent one I posted. Catholic Church performs exorcism on screaming woman. Then, of course, the Maryland case I mentioned. Although there was a good article, too. It's called The Culture of Exorcism, and this was put out by Skeptic's Guide to the Universe.
Okay.
And what they pointed out, and this is kind of important, and this is going to tie into the whole paranormal aspect. They go, basically what they said, none of the news articles showed any skepticism by asking things like whether or not possession is something that actually exists. Rationality is nowhere to be found in reporting of exorcism, and until it does, we lose the battle against the worst angles of our nature. And basically what brought that about is there's a demon-possessed house, supposedly, in Pittsburgh, which is about 3 hours west of me. And you have the original owners of the home saying, no, that's fucking bullshit. And you have the current owner, or I'm a little off on the timeline, but he wrote a book called The Demon of Brownsville Road, and the original owners are like, you're full of shit, dude.
Yeah.
So, and this is one of the problems I have with the paranormal aspect, the ghost hunters, is that you hear a lot of them saying, oh, demon, demon, demon.
Oh, don't get me started on that shit.
Coming from the mental health side of it, I know the damages that can cause. It nearly killed me.
Absolutely.
Twice.
Absolutely.
And so, and I have friends who consider themselves, quote, demonologists, and I have an article that I haven't posted yet that talks about these so-called demonologists. Now, 3 of the individuals I know personally, and I know that their intentions are right, but I have hesitations, and that comes because of the religious bullshit.
Yeah.
But it gets real dangerous. I mean, we got the crap coming out of Uganda, with the witchcraft. Right now, Africa is having a horrid problem with these witch hunters.
Yes.
And Tanzania,
well, TB Joshua goes on about witchcraft on his show too.
Yes, yeah, he's one. You brought him into my radar, so I've been kind of following the witchcraft crowd. Even India is having issues.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say. Yeah, you go ahead.
I was just going to say Myanmar recently with Muslims.
Yes.
And the jinn. Theirs is the jinn.
They're the jinn, the jinns.
Yeah, the jinns.
Well, I had... Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say I've encountered one of TB Joshua's followers on Twitter. And the guy actually attempted to do a deliverance on me over Twitter. That was fun. This guy's like screaming in all caps, "Jesus, well, out with the demon!" I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? Yeah,
well, I know Jessica Williams. She's on the Daily Show. She actually did a clip with Bob Larson. I'll post it in our after the show, but
cool.
It's quite comical. And the problem is it's not people just like Bob Larson. We have a lot of Larson wannabes within the church. There's God's ER, and this is a woman that Sandra Williamson. I mean, they do deliverance bullshit.
Yep.
It's crazy because this is where religion really does cause hurt and harm.
Absolutely.
Sure does.
Because, I mean, we all know the Annalise Nicole, back in the 70s. I mean, she literally was killed because of religious beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, she was 16 or 17, I don't remember, and it was her decision, but her decision was being influenced by the beliefs of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
It's just like, to get like some of the pseudoscience where they say, "Oh, go off your medication." I mean, I lost a college friend who got mixed up into, I will call it a cult. I don't know what denomination or non-denominational influences was, but when she was a child, she had a kidney transplant. And this church convinced her to stop taking her anti-rejection medication. She died 6 months later.
Jeez.
Wow.
At 23 years old, because these people, and this falls back into the whole faith healing bullshit too.
Yep. So anybody out there who has to ask why we don't just be our little atheist selves and leave you alone, it's because of shit like that. So, well, we're going to have to start wrapping things up a little bit. First of all, I did want to say thank you to the Seethin' Heathen for popping in between his jobs. That was awesome. Talk about your multitasking there. And please check out him and Joe Kendick's show, Unbuckling the Bible Belt. They are usually weekly, and we can put some links in for that for you guys too. But please go check them out. They're good guys, and it's an enjoyable show too. And of course, thank you so much to Bobby C and Miss Ashley for popping in again with us.
Oh, you're welcome anytime.
We enjoy having you guys. And they just put out a new episode. Was it yesterday or today?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. So go check them out because it was fun. I enjoyed it. Always enjoyable listening to Miss Ashley read the Bible, of course.
And I finally finished Genesis. Yes.
No more Genesis. Yay.
Well, I got to have a party or something.
I told you though. Wait till they get to the tabernacle.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out a way to make. I've told Bobby our ideas, and I'm gonna figure out a way to make this fun.
Oh, good, excellent, excellent. If only I was closer, I'd help you with some of the hands-on. But
I'll just say this to you, Miss Ashley. Wait till you get to 2 Kings.
Oh boy.
My favorite story is there. I'll just say Elisha and the she-bears.
Oh wow!
I won't say anymore.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll enjoy. You'll enjoy that one.
Spoilers. I don't mind spoilers. Because look forward to.
Yeah. This is true. Well, there's lots of crazy shit in there. And
wait till you get to Leviticus.
Oh yeah, Leviticus is where all the. Yeah. Yeah,
I've heard about it.
And it's not quite as good as Ezekiel, but Song of Solomon gets some sexy time on.
Well, I'm actually looking forward, and I know this probably sounds bad, but I'm actually looking forward to reading Exodus because I remember there was two books that I remember reading over and over and over while I was in worship, in what I called the big church, the adult church, every Sunday. And it was always Exodus and it was always Matthew. So I'm interested in reading Exodus as an adult, as skeptic as I am now.
Yep.
Versus when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So those two books I'm kind of looking forward to because I'd like to see how I read them differently now.
Yes.
And how I view them differently.
Absolutely. Well, and it's kind of like things like Noah's Ark, because that's like the go-to kids story. And, no one ever, in your child's Bible, you always see, the happy little animals on the ark, and they're all smiling. And, they don't show, especially when they show the ark after all the waters went away, they don't show, like, the bloated corpses all over the place.
No,
Or,
they don't. I never really thought about that as a child.
No, you wouldn't have.
It happens to all the dead people.
No. Or the fact that, all these people drowned a horrible death, that was fun. It's just like, killed the dinosaurs and the unicorns. And
yeah. So, I never in a million years would have thought, why did they have to wait on a bird to bring them an olive branch? Why couldn't God just say, okay, there's land over there?
That's a good, you know what? I had not thought of that. That's a good one. Well, and you'd think you could see if you're not moving, you could look over the side and go, well, what do you know? There's fucking land down there.
Didn't they only have like one window?
Well, you think,
Yeah.
Take some, I don't know, like a rock or something and throw it out and see if it goes sploosh. And if it goes thud, then you're like, well, damn, maybe we can open the door. God, can you imagine the stench on there? Ooh, man.
Well, ladies, I do have to get back to my allergy test. But I enjoyed being on here. Thank you for asking me.
Thank
and
you so much.
anytime y'all want to have me back on, don't hesitate to shoot me a message and say, hey, we need you.
Absolutely. Bobby, you there somewhere? Or did he run away?
No, he stepped outside.
Oh, okay. No
Apparently
worries.
the smoke was blowing his eyes up, so.
Uh-huh.
And he's a smoker.
Oh, dear.
Yes. So,
Okay.
But I will tell him that y'all said good night.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thanks for watching. And like I said, next week, please tune in. We're having Mormon Mania, and we're going to learn all about the craziness that is Mormonism from some experts and David Michael, who's just figuring this shit out the first time. We're having David, and Cash is going to join us, so we're excited there. And Bryce, who does the podcast Naked Mormonism, which for me, as a history buff, it's fucking awesome because he delves into the history, which you might think sounds dry, but he makes it really entertaining. So we're going to have those guys on next week, and we're going to learn all about Mormonism. And if the Murphy of technology pities me, we might have some new shit to work on the show too. So I think we're going to wrap it up, and we will see everybody next week. And thank you so much for listening.